Laughing Vikings Live. High vibe chats with actors, comedians, and creators, plus stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, and most importantly, you. That's right, join us every Monday for new episodes, and you can be a part of the show on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Ask questions and interact in the comments, and make sure to share this with your actor, comedian, and creator friends so they can be a part of the show too. Can't make a live show? No problem. You can catch up on your favorite podcast platform and visit laughingvikings.com to find out how you can join the cast and crew. All right, it's time for today's show. Buckle up and make sure you stick around to the end because we have a special surprise for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Laughing Vikings Live. Happy Monday Fun Day. Let's go. Welcome, episode 117. 117?
It is
117. All right,
117.
getting old. Getting old. 117. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We got a doozy. Welcome, viewers on Facebook and on YouTube, or maybe you're not watching live and you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform. Make sure to share this out with your friends. Make sure to smash the subscribe buttons and do all those things that we tell you to do every week. And if you're listening to this on a regular basis and you haven't done those things, you're just wasting brain resources by not doing it. Just do it once so you never have to listen to us again. And every time that Lars says, smash the subscribe button or share this out, you're like, Lars, I got it. I already have done this. I'm on board. Get on board. You on board, Brandon?
I'm on board. You only have so many brain resources to use, and use them wisely.
Right. Welcome. Yeah. Make sure to let us know in the comments where you're watching from too. We've got some live viewers here across Facebook and YouTube. We go live every Wednesday here. Today we got a great show. We're going to reframe some things for you actors out there around auditioning and around how you measure your own success. And really your, I guess you're just, the word is paradigm, or just how you look at things and how you define success. And some of this might be a little controversial too. Some of you may listen to what we have to say and be like, that seems ass backwards. And I would tend to disagree. But if you do have comments or you want to share counterpoints, feel free to pop off in the comments. And really what we're looking at today is just shifting your perspective from the only success and the only victory being a booking to other things that you can look at in your career and in your life that also are measures of success and growth and improvement. Because here's the problem. Most actors out there don't book most auditions. So if the only thing that you're looking at as success or as a victory is when you get the booking and when you get on set and when you get that paycheck, there's the risk of setting yourself up for a lot of failure, because most of auditioning technically is failure if you're not getting the job, which mentally, if you're looking at things that way, like if every audition that you don't book, you're thinking, oh, I lost, I'm a loser, I'm not booking. You're really setting yourself up for failure. And the other argument too is, if you make the goal booking the role, that's a goal that you have, I'm not going to say no control over, but you don't have full control over that. Meaning you can have a fantastic audition and still not book the role. So if your goal is book the role, you did all these amazing things, and then you're like, oh, fuck, I lost, I suck, I'm no good, I didn't book it. Rather than how we're going to reframe things here for you today. You can look at several other things as successes and as growth and as progress in your career, so that you're not just beholden to the ups and downs of it's how long has it been since I booked one, so that you're looking at slow and steady growth, maybe not even slow growth, but steady growth regardless of bookings, and taking more control over things. It's like all of us, you want to have a lot of happiness in life comes from knowing that you're in control and that you're in charge. Arguably, control is a little bit of an illusion because who knows what the fuck happens on a daily basis. Even when you think you control things, you could get hit by a bus or a tornado or a hurricane. But barring all that crazy stuff, you want to have some control in your life, and you want to feel that you're dictating your success and your progress. And if you leave that to the gatekeepers, meaning casting directors and production, then you're leaving a lot of your own happiness and your own success into the hands of other people. So we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can measure your own success outside booking the role. Now, not saying that you shouldn't be wanting and shouldn't be thrilled when you do book a role, but if that's your intention, you can set yourself up for a bumpy road. And I think it's all of this is also under the heading of, it's not just the destination, it's the journey, or it's not just the championship game, it's getting to play the game that you should be focused on, and playing your game. And we're going to talk about some of those things. So here are 3 ways you can measure your own success outside of booking the role. Number 1, bring it up.
Playing your game.
Playing your game. And this is what we've talked about. I think the worst trap that a lot of actors fall into is the classic, and we hear it all the time. What do they want? What are they looking for? Or sometimes maybe we'll give a suggestion or a direction in an audition, and an actor will shoot it down and the common response is, I don't think that's what they want. Or an actor will say, oh, if they would just tell me what I want, tell me how you want me to say it, tell me what you're looking for, tell me how you want to do this, how do they want it, and I'll do that. And the problem with that is it takes all of your personal power away, and it makes you just this meat puppet pylon, where someone else is controlling you, like Geppetto and Pinocchio, and it creates a scenario where you don't have any personal power. You're just at the behest of other people telling you what to do. And if that's what it took to be a top level actor, you wouldn't need training, and you wouldn't need seasoned veteran actors who are pros. You would just need any idiot off the street and then just tell them what to do, and they do it, and that would be the job. But that's not the job. So it's about playing your game and shifting that mentality of what do they want. No, it's not what they want. It's what do you want as the artist? How do you want to play this scene? What's the story you want to tell? Obviously, I don't mean that to be irreverent to the writer and to the producers either. How do you want to best tell the story in the script that you've been given? But you are the character. It is you. So defaulting to what do they want to do, you got to think like, are you going to give away your personal power that much? So you're going to spend 3 weeks on set doing only something that someone else wants you to do without considering what you want to do and who you want to bring to that character and what you want to bring to that audition. So
it reminds me a lot of a Tom quote, Tom Todoroff quote, that is, they provide you the ink and the paper. You need to provide the bodily functions to the character, to what's going on in the scenario and to the story.
The life. Yeah, yes. You bring the life. There's sometimes I can think of points in my career, whether it was theater, stand-up, or TV and film, where I would do a performance and I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. And I would kind of like, I don't like this character, or I don't like this script. Not realizing that I was giving away all my personal power and deciding, hey, it's fucking you. It's me. Yep. It's not me. So I'd make character choices, and I would feel, oh, I don't like who I am in that role. I don't know. I don't like how I'm playing it. I don't like maybe sometimes something vocally I was doing where it was like, I've had times where I did a show or a scene where it was like my own voice gave me a headache. And I'm like, well, that's just a bad personal choice on my call. I was thinking that I had to, like, I was making a choice thinking that that's what the script dictated, or that's what the breakdown indicated, rather than empowering myself and saying, what do I want to bring of me to this role? How do I want to play this? And I think that's really the best actors that come through the studio here are people who say, I'm going to bring my A game. I'm super prepped. I'm going to bring my life and strong choices and my uniqueness and my unique individuality. You often hear like every human being who's lived a full life is more interesting than any character on paper, because every character on paper is not a real person. So don't be thinking that someone on a script is going to be more interesting than you, provided you're a fully expressed and unblocked human being. Your life experience is real and makes you a unique human being that's more interesting than a fictional character. But it's about making that choice and deciding, hey, this is who I want to bring to this audition, not, oh, I'm just a useless pawn and tell me what to do. And hopefully you'll cast me if I listen to you well and take directions.
And
Like
I don't think it's just auditions. I think it's also like playing your game is also doing your own work, like starting Comedy Alley.
Right.
Like
Right.
starting doing your own comedy shows, starting
Right.
to do your own show or your own play or your own musical or something along those lines that feeds that creativity in you. That's
Right.
what's most important. You want the auditions to be an afterthought because you want to be like, okay, now that's done. Now I have the thing that I care about to
Right.
focus on, whether that
Right.
be a podcast, whatever it is, a
Right.
blog,
Right.
again, whatever it is, so that it feeds your fire. You want to be playing at you want to be getting better each and every time that you audition. Do your own work. Do your own
Right.
thing that fuels that fire inside you so that you can come in and be like, hey, I know that personal experience that I had a little while ago. I might be able to bring that into this, or like something along those lines that, again, shows the casting directors, those producers, what it's like to be around you. Because the more you bring you, and again, I'm also reminded of another Tom quote that is, oh, now I've lost it. Your talent is in your choices.
Right. Yeah,
The more
they
you
want,
bring you to that, yeah.
and that's tied into another one that is they're looking for players, not projects. So
Yes.
like a director doesn't want to have to give you a line read for every, oh, how should I play this? Should I be upset here? How should is this too much? Is this not enough? Like, they want you to make strong choices and be a fully fleshed out human and fully fleshed character, bringing things off the page that are unique to you, so that they don't have to do that, versus an actor who needs to be coddled on set and needs to be stroked and need to be reassured and need to be fed every line read and need to be told, you want me to lift this with my right hand, or like little things like that. Sometimes you see people.
That's exhausting. That's exhausting. Being around, even just listening to that right now is exhausting.
Right. Yeah. And they don't want to be, Tom will also say they don't want to be responsible for your self-esteem either.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't want to, like, you don't want, and you can feel that different energy when you see someone. If you've been in a live casting room, the actors who come in, which I think also comes down to changing the molecules in a room. And even when you meet people in life, there's certain people who exude this radiant, positive, powerful, personal energy. And then there's people who walk in meek, low self-esteem, looking for approval, looking for validation, uncertainty. Can I use this chair? Can I sit here? Can I do this? And it's just like, I don't know if that's like winning team, championship team material. Yeah. So, and getting back to your point about playing your game as far as doing your own work, I've always had a mental trick for a long time in my head of really thinking of auditions kind of at most as 50% of my career, and the other 50% is my responsibility to me being a stand-up, booking my own stand-up shows, writing my own sketch material, creating a podcast, doing my own marketing and my own social media work and all that kind of stuff, almost to the point where when auditions come, I have to make a decision. Do I even want this or not? And sometimes I get the feeling of I could be so busy with other things that when an audition comes in, it's almost like it's not fully an inconvenience, but it's a choice for me to say, do I want to set aside the project that I'm working on right now to audition for this, that will take me away from those things for a paycheck for a few days on set. Especially with like sometimes smaller roles too. It's like it's a blip in the radar. Like when this is all, and even when you shoot things, sometimes you shoot it and you're like, I'm actually glad I'm done that, because now I can go back to doing anything that I wanted to do, which was my stand-up tour, or which was Comedy Alley, or which was the thing that I've been writing. So just setting yourself up so that you have your personal power within you and within your choices and within your life and career, not a gatekeeper dangling a carrot in front of you saying, here, do you want a piece of this? And one of the things that we talked about a few episodes ago was, and I kind of highly suggest this to everyone, is turn down a role. I wouldn't turn down a role. Don't turn down a role after you've auditioned for it, because then you just wasted everybody's time. Turn down an audition is what I'm saying. When you see an audition that doesn't feel right, and it's just like, this doesn't really vibe with me, versus the needy energy of, who am I to say no to this? How dare I say no to this? So many actors out there would love to get this one-liner or the small role. It's like, you can turn things down, and it's amazing when you do. The feeling of personal power you get, and that can be a tough dynamic with agents. So you need to be communicative and open with your agent, so that they're not feeling, well, here I am working to get these opportunities, and you're just saying no to them. So I'm not saying say no all the time, but pick and choose. And occasionally when it doesn't feel right, say no to it and fight for the roles that you do want. And it's an amazing boost. And when I did that recently, we talked about it. It was a role where it was a one-liner. It would have been one day. It was on an amazing show that I love, and I would love to be on that show. But the role just wasn't for me. I felt that it was very negative. I didn't feel there was redeeming qualities in the character. I didn't feel I would enjoy prepping for it. I didn't feel like I would enjoy the shoot day, being on set with 300 people, and I'm the guy saying those words. I didn't feel like even when I booked it, I didn't feel that I would use the scene in my demo reel because of the nature of the subject matter. So all signs pointed to no. I didn't feel good about it. The only good thing about it would have been paid $2,000 to do it, likely $1,500 or $2,000 for the day, and I would have got an IMDb credit on a really cool show. But it was like none of that. It didn't feel good. So I turned it down, and then I was like, oh fuck, that feels good to turn something down that I don't want. Saying no to things in your life that you don't want actually makes you feel good. And when you continually make decisions and make choices against the little whisper in your head that's saying, I don't think this is for you, and you contradict yourself, that weakens your own personal power, and it weakens your own self-esteem, because you are constantly doing things that contradict yourself, and you want to be in alignment, I guess is the word that it comes down to. You want to be aligned with your choices. And then the funny thing is, I turned that role down, or turned the audition down. The next day in my inbox, I get a lead role in a feature film and get to audition for that. So it was that quick, was the universe saying, hey, kudos to you for saying no to what you don't want. Here's something that you do want, a lead role in a feature film. And that one was going to be, I don't know whether I booked it or not. You helped me with the audition. But it's a feature film that shoots outside Washington, D.C., and my lead character would shoot for 13 days on set. In a role that I think is very, very meaty and I would really enjoy, versus something one day where I would be like, I don't even want to be this guy. So playing your game, and the great thing about playing your game is then it's not it really is a journey thing versus a destination thing when you're playing your game, because every day you're living in your own personal power. You're making decisions that support you and support your goals, rather than thinking, what do they want? What do they want from me? And you're just, that feels bad. And you know what I'm talking about too, is sometimes the other thing that happens is in actors, especially when they're not creating their own work or creating their own opportunities, you become just an inbound receiver of opportunities, like meaning nothing happens until you get an email in your inbox from someone else saying they want something, meaning an audition or a role or an opportunity, which just puts you back on your heels and kind of puts you in a situation where you often can just be twiddling your thumbs waiting, and then you're complaining, why am I not getting opportunities? How come my agent's not doing anything for me? Which is not the energy that your agent or the universe is going to respond to. So you have to be creating your own opportunities. And then I see when I get something from my agent, I see that as icing on the cake. I see it as bonus. Like, oh, cool. On top of everything I'm doing for myself, I have this opportunity to go audition for this cool show, rather than waiting, and then blaming everyone else when things don't come to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to keep yourself sharp. You want to keep yourself ready and in a great mindset for when you do get those things coming through.
How do you like my invisible
cup?
Space
I think
mug
it's great. I'm going to call it the Audition Hero Cup.
Audition Hero mug. All right, number 2. So that's playing your game. Play your game. Remember, it's your life. And I think just to wrap up on this is you're the writer, director, and creator, producer of your own life and your own career. So just remember that. You're not a background player in your own life, and you're not a bit player in your own life, and you're not a one-line player in your own life. I actually hate, we've talked about this before, I hate that saying, there's no small roles, there's only small actors. There are small roles. They have less screen time, they have a smaller trailer, they have a smaller paycheck, they have a smaller time on set, they have a smaller writing font for your name in the credits. So you need to decide, do you want to be a small bit player for the rest of your life? Not saying there's time and a place for all of it in our careers, but at some point you got to decide that, hey, I want ensemble leads and supporting leads because I want to be a lead player in my own life and in my own career. Or you can decide, okay, yeah, bit players and one-liners is as good as it gets for me, and that's the choice you make, and that's probably the ceiling that you'll hit. Number two is measuring your success by strengthening relationships, not just booking the role. So what do we mean by that? That can mean your agent is seeing you continually produce better work and better auditions. So you're strengthening your relationship with your agent, and they're feeling more and more confident with the scope of roles.
On Sunday, I actually met my agent for the very first time. And one of the first things that she said to me was, I have watched all of your auditions, and you are one of the only people on this roster that I haven't had to send a tape back and say, can you do it again? Nice. Either for lighting or for choices, whatever. Right. So that's a huge compliment. That's a big thing. And like, I've made her life easier. And that's a very good thing. I think we've talked about this before. You want to think of yourself as a part-time worker. You want to make each and every person's job easier. As Tom says, you want to be a creative partner. You don't want to be someone that is looking for advice each and every time. You want to be the person that does the work and gets it done easily so that everyone else has an easier time with you.
Right. And that gives confidence in your agent to know that if they do fight for you and they do put you forward, they're not going to look like an idiot where they fought for you and then you sent them a tape where you fucking shot it in your closet with shitty lighting and you read your own lines into the opposite reader and it was all wonky and your internet sucked. And then they're like, great, I look stupid, I look unprofessional, you look unprofessional, I can't send this in, why am I fighting for it? Versus the reliability of knowing every time I submit Brandon for something, when he accepts it, it's a professional looking good quality light like there's no issues there, quality, it's always top notch, and the performance and creative choices as an artist are strong as well too, and there's never
gets
that
it in on time,
if not early.
Because Go.
And so strengthening relationships there. Another biggie is casting directors is, you don't book it. Like, again, if you think like the number I've heard was like 500 to 600 for a one-liner, 500 to 600 people will get submitted for it. And then who knows what they say yes to. Maybe there's 50, maybe there's 100, but think about that. So just call it even numbers. Just say 100 people audition. It means 99 people get no. And if you're thinking those 99 people got nothing out of it or those 99 losers, then we're in one of the hardest businesses that there is, for that math, that it is highly competitive. But when you're also gaining other victories when you don't book roles, then you're continually progressing. So if you don't book a role, but you strengthen a relationship with the casting director, with casting assistants, with the production team, so they see your audition, they think it's strong, they shortlist you, maybe you get a call back, it goes to production, they lean another way. Yeah, you didn't get it, but they're not thinking, oh, Brandon's a shitty actor, we can't book him. They're thinking his tape was great, we could have booked him. Like, chances are on everything, it's like any role, even like you look at Hollywood stuff, it's very rare that there's a movie that you watch where it was like, this only would have worked with that one actor. Chances are it came down to a short list of 5 Academy Award nominees and they only could go with one of them. Yeah, maybe it would have been a different movie with a different actor, but it likely still would have worked. And when you go down the ladder of to supporting and smaller roles, I hate to say it, but actors are fairly replaceable at that level. So you got to be finding victories when you don't book that role. And the victory is a casting director gets to see you progress and improve. The production team doesn't book you for that role, but it's a long season or multiple seasons. So we're like, we like that guy. Let's find him for something else. Sometimes you specifically don't book the role that you were going out for because they don't want to burn you for that role. They have something bigger in mind for you. They're like, he's really good, I don't want to use him for that. Let's save him. There's that arc later in the series. Let's see what he can put forward for that role. And they'll save you. And one of the biggest mistakes that sometimes we see, and I've noticed, it's very rare here at Actors Audition Club, just because of our ethos and nature and positive attitude and everything here. But every once in a while, someone will come in where a casting director has brought them in for the same show multiple times. And every once in a while, you'll hear an actor complain like, oh, I fucking auditioned for this casting director for this show 5 times already. What the fuck? Like, quit wasting my time. Just cast me already. Rather than thinking, hey, this casting director and this production clearly likes me, clearly sees that I do good work. They want to continually give me these opportunities. The chips just haven't fallen my way for one way or the other. But seeing that as a victory and seeing those as wins, rather than seeing it as, oh, they're fucking wasting my time. Like, that's such a backwards approach to it. So if you're strengthening your relationship with your agent, with all the work that, with your continued improvement in your work, with the casting directors, with production, also, you don't know that a producer or someone on the production team, maybe they move on and then they're with a new production at some point, and then they remember you. Oh shit, that was the guy, we didn't cast him for that, but he was really funny, or he was really great, or he did some really unique things. Yeah, let's bring him in for this. And a lot of this comes under the heading of playing the long game. You can look at the short victory and just be like, I got to book this role, and if I don't book this role, I lost this game. But you want to be looking at things over the long haul and over a long career. And if you're incrementally improving over a career, you sort of guaranteeing your long-term success. Whereas someone thinking short-term, what do they want right now? And if I don't do what they want, and if I don't book the role, I lost. You're just setting yourself up for repeated failure. And then you're avoiding doing the things that would, quote unquote, guarantee your success long term.
Yeah, this is a sprint, not a marathon.
Right. But it is a marathon.
Opposite.
Yeah.
Opposite. Yeah. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There you go.
Yeah, or it's a series of sprints that when you add them up turns into a marathon. Stand by here, getting a phone call. All right. And so the other thing I just want to relate to this is, again, if you're thinking these long-term things, there's that analogy, or you might have heard I don't know what you call it, a riddle or a question of, Brandon, do you want I'll give you $1 million right now, or I'll give you a penny that doubles every day for 30 days. What do you want?
$1 million.
You want the $1 million? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean, unless
I
you
mean, it would be
die,
more.
unless you die before the 30 days, what you want is the penny that doubles every day. You want incremental growth
I feel
because
like
a
it should be
penny.
$1. I feel like a
No, it's
penny's too small.
well, you're wrong. 30 days of a penny doubling ends up with like it's over $5.3 million.
Really?
Yep, yep. I'll show you the math.
Okay.
After day one is a penny. Day two, 2
Okay.
cents. 3, 4 cents. 8 cents. 16 cents. By day 10, it's still only $5.12. By day 15, it's $163.84. By day 20, it's still only $5,242.88. By day 25, it's still only $167,000. So if you're by day 25, you're like, oh fuck,
Shit.
I
Oh,
I
shit.
fucked up. I lost $850,000. What a shit deal. And then in the last 5 days, it doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles to 536,000 $5,368,709.12.
Shit.
So that's just the power of like compound interest or the power of exponential growth. And it's really a flat line for a long time. And then those all of a sudden those doubles start getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So it's that idea, and that's everything we're saying here is the $1 million is the booking right now. Oh, I booked it. The doubling of the penny is strengthening a relationship with a casting director, strengthening a relationship with a producer or your agent, playing your own game. So just realizing that it's long term, it is a journey versus just these little quick wins. And if you play with that mindset, you still fight hard in the short term and you still do your best to win every audition. I actually think that the goal should never be your goal shouldn't be to book the role because you don't have any control over that. Your goal should be to put forth your best audition possible right now, and then whatever happens with that happens with that. Anything else on strengthening relationships? I think that it also applies to other actors as well too. Like you're strengthening relationships with other actors in your community, finding peers, finding a community, finding a team, other people in film industry as well. One of my biggest like hacks to booking roles was when I see people on social media advertising casting. If it's something that doesn't fit me, I always tag other people in it, and the amount of tags and incoming things, like I've had tons of bookings and tons of roles that I wouldn't have even known about, but I was reco'd and someone sent me the casting. But usually it's someone sending it to me who I've sent them multiple things to. So just the idea of building a team, strengthening community, strengthening relationships, like every business.
That's how. No, you go.
Go ahead.
No, you go. No,
you go.
Okay. Well, that's how I ended up booking Cinderella, is because you recommended me to one of your friends for the same company. I didn't end up getting that role, but the audition went really well that they ended up keeping me in mind for this show that I'm doing right now.
Right.
And so like that's just an example of like how it can benefit you in the long term by making these relationships. A friend gave me a recommendation to one of their friends to audition for a show that they were directing. I auditioned. It went really well. I didn't end up getting it. But then later on down the line, that company kept me in mind and was like, hey, we would really love for you to be in this production. Would you be interested? And it's led to one of the best experiences I've ever had.
And probably, I think it's a bigger, more prominent role. I think it's been a longer run too. So ultimately, you probably made more money from this one. But imagine the energy difference if you would have been like, if after that process, you would have been like, oh, fuck those guys. They didn't cast me. How dare they? Fucking assholes didn't put me in their thing, even though Lars recommended me. Like, I knew the guy. Why didn't they cast me in that? Like, and sometimes people do that too, where they do get opportunities and they do get referrals, or someone in production does know them and throws them a bone and says, hey, yeah, we would love, not saying you have the role, but we would love you to audition for this. And then they don't get it. Then they resent that. Instead of being grateful for the opportunity, they're like, well, how dare they ask me to audition? I thought I had an in and I thought he was going to book me. Like, what the fuck kind of friend is that? You know, like that kind of vibe, where you're not grateful for anything versus, hey, that went well, that was positive, and let's see how that works. And now I know a new production company. Now I know a new director. Someone else knows who I am and knows the work that you do. So yeah. And this business, again, and Thomas said this is, every business first is a what you know business, and then who you know. You can't just because you know an uncle in film, like if he were to just cast you in it and you don't have the skills and you're not able to perform at a high level on sets, under the pressure of a crew and all this equipment and lights and all this stuff, then you're going to drop the ball. But eventually it is about relationships. So if all you're doing is training, but you're not making any relationships and nobody knows you and you're not fostering and nurturing those relationships, following up with gratitude and with thank you when you are cast, and when making an effort when you are on set to meet as many people as possible, meeting other actors, meeting the assistant directors and the directors and the production coordinators and all those people, and being a pleasant person on set, being a professional person, being someone that they're like, oh, he was really fun. Every time he was on set, it was positive. It was professional. He was there on time. We never had to look for him. He was never causing us more problems. He wasn't a project. He was a true collaborator and a partner. Then all of a sudden, everything you do get, now you have this giant resource of other people who know, like, and trust you. And you hear that in business a lot, is the know, like, and trust factor. The reality is we don't generally like to do business with people who are strangers, who we don't know. Certainly we don't like to work with people that we don't like. And we don't, even if you know someone and like them, if you don't trust them because you're like, a guy kind of drops the ball, or he's often late, or maybe he's got vices and things that creep into his life that fuck up his professionalism, late night partying or substance stuff. Like, some of that is like, yeah, I love you and I like you and I know you, but I don't know if I trust that on the day you're going to deliver, because there's been other times you had opportunities and you didn't show up. So, and I know that's something that you pride yourself on. You're extremely reliable. You always show up on time. If you say you're going to be there, I know you're going to be there. And if you're not, my assumption is usually like, I wonder what has happened to Brandon. Some emergency must have happened. Not, oh no, here we go again. Brandon's missing in action. I'm never thinking that. I'm like, almost to the point, you almost want to be so reliable where if you don't show up, people are like, is he dead? He's either sick or dead, because like that. And that's kind of what you want. You don't want people thinking, well, it's quarter after his call time. Who knows when he's going to show up? You want to be like, whoa, this is weird. He's never not here. He's always here. And then that people can rely on you, and you want people to be able to like bet on you and go all chips in on you, where they're like, yeah, I would vouch for this guy. I would, or girl, I would stake a claim to them, and because you trust them, and you have a relationship with them. So build those relationships.
Yes. Number three,
an overall note of measuring your success. Maybe you didn't book that role, but are you training and are you growing? And again, this is that's the doubling of the penny. Whether or not you're booking a role, if you're continually training, learning, and growing, the chances are over a career and over time, you are going to be booking more roles. And that's the thing that you have control over too. Again, we don't have control. You could have a brilliant audition and still not book the role. But you have control over your daily schedule. You have control over classes that you take, courses that you take. You have control over what you feed your mind, obviously what you feed your body as well, how you take care of your mental health, how you take care of your physical, emotional health. So if you focus on that and focus on growing as a human being. And that's not just acting related stuff. That could be taking languages, taking other sports, or learning new skills, or traveling, and just getting a more broad scope of humanity by traveling, and building your human experience, so that you come every project you come together on, you are a more fully fleshed out, informed human being. So you have more real life experiences to draw upon, because you are a professional human being, as Tom likes to say. So
Yes.
So asking yourself, are you, like, when's the last time you took a class? If you're a person who went to TV, film school, theater school, and then you just never stopped learning after that, versus the person who's always, like, whether it's quarterly or weekly or monthly, like, how are you really prescribing your own training and your growth? And people do this differently. Sometimes it can be like a monthly challenge where you're like, okay, this is the month where I want to work on learning Spanish, or this is the month where I want to take a stage combat class and get a little more physical so I can do more combat, or maybe do my own stunts, whatever it might be. But actually prescribing that into your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly schedule, however you want to look at it. And I don't want to prescribe that for people, but monthly challenge is a good way to look at it. Quarterly challenge. Some people are like, I'm always in a class. Doesn't matter. Like, one class ends and then it's okay, I learned that. What's the next program that I want to be plugged into the matrix? Almost like the Matrix, where, remember, they would upload, like, I need to learn how to ride a motorcycle, upload that program into me, and just put, like, you could put together a list of what are all the skills and special skills that you think would be valuable for you as an actor, or you're just interested in as a human being. Put a list down, and then just one by one start taking those classes, or read the book on that thing, or subscribe to the podcast about that thing. So you're always feeding yourself and you're always growing, so that booking roles or not booking roles, you're continually getting better, which presumably is going to create a situation where you're in a better position to book more roles, because you're more highly trained, or you have more skills, or you have more life experience to draw upon.
And that's what you want to be doing each, like, and this is always good to check in after a year, so that way you're thinking about this stuff going into next year and saying, oh, I did a lot better than I was expecting to do. Or, like, however you score yourself and however you look at this, like, give yourself the credit, give yourself the credit that you deserve. You may have not gotten the outcome that you wanted of booking the job, but, like, there are so many ways to measure your success over a past year that need to be taken into account. I always love Zombieland, the movie, and, like, enjoy the little things. These little things add up over time, and that's what we're talking about today. The more that you add up all these little things, and, like, things that you maybe didn't take into account at the moment, but you're taking into account now, and saying, this is something that I have improved upon. This is something that I did that made me feel good. I did this class and I knew I got better, and I've been doing these classes and I know I'm getting stronger, and I know I'm doing well. Tom Todoroff loves to say, you're guilty until proven talented. And it takes a while. It takes a long time to build up these relationships. It takes a long time for people to trust you. But when they do, it's one of the best feelings in the world. And it's going to be so good down the line, and you're going to be so great. You just need to trust the process, trust yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I learned that today.
Yeah, I think it's trusting a process. I mean, it's like going to the gym. It's you don't go to the gym and think, oh, today's going to be the workout where it's the workout of a lifetime, and I go do a workout and then I'm jacked and I'm a made man for the rest of my life and I never have to work out. Like, you might be thinking, oh, if I would just book this one role, this is going to be the one thing. It is a process. But if you just said to yourself, hey, I'm going to go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, I'm going to spend a half an hour to an hour there, you don't really have to worry. It's almost you've automatically set yourself on a path to success because you've carved out the time and just the reps are going to be there versus banking it all on, oh, please, is this going to be the workout where it happens? It's like you can see how that's just not going to work out for you. It's going to be the little things over time. It's also, you mentioned it's finding self-validation rather than external validation, and it's having that internal, you hear the psychological term of internal or external locus of control. So if you're a person, if you're external locus of control person, everything around you, circumstances, people, family, society, government, weather, all of that is happening to you, and you're like, oh, I don't have any control over this. So you can slip into victim mode real quick. Versus an internal locus of control is everything in the universe is happening for me, but I get to make the choice how I respond and how I react to that. I'm in charge. I'm dictating my own life. And short of someone being in shackles or being in a country where there's political strife and we truly don't have the freedom to make your own choices, most of us in arts and entertainment aren't in that situation. And if you are in that situation, and I know there's a lot of that happening in the world right now, yeah, you don't have control over things if your government is throwing you in jail for your beliefs. But that's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about assuming you're in a free world and you're able to make free choices. I think it's just seeing things long-term versus short-term, but also leaving room for magic too. I don't want you to think like, oh, this is a 30-year slog and that's all it takes, because there's also the magic of opportunities that fall in your lap. And there are those magic moments where right actor, right role, and boom, something blows up and someone is thrust into the public eye and wins some awards and is in a project that's the darling of a festival, and that really launches you. All of that happens as well. But I think the best approach is have that long-term vision of journey over destination and playing the game versus winning the game. You just set yourself up for it's like you're going to win regardless. You're either going to win on a short-term audition where you book a role of a lifetime and you do book that dream role, or you're going to slow and steady win the race over time. So you're sort of, it's like hedging your bets there rather than banking. You don't want to go chips all in and be like, oh, okay, everything rides on this audition. If I don't book this audition, I'm fucked. I'm a loser and my career is in the shit. And then taking some of those chips and being like, you know what, I'm going to put some of that into playing my own game, creating my own opportunities, creating better relationships with other people, investing in my own training and my growth. And this is the time to think about that. We wanted to do this episode because we're coming to the end of a year. And naturally, even though our calendar is just somewhat arbitrary and created by humans, you could do this at any time during the year. But naturally, around the end of a year, we're looking back on and scoring ourselves and judging ourselves. We're looking forward about what needs to change. And New Year's resolutions are a thing where people are like, what do I need to change? What are the things I need to say no to and let go of? What are the things I need to adopt, and new classes I need to take? So that's why we bring all this into you guys today in this episode. And speaking of that, we should do some a little promo here. You can get instant access to our free audition training, our Audition Hero workshop, where you can learn how one actor went from stressful DIY self-tapes to booking a role in a Hollywood blockbuster, plus 2 series leads in less than 12 months. And you can get instant access to that training. Go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero, and you can get a free access to those to that training video series. And if you need audition help right now, for those of you who are working professional actors who are doing self-tapes, if you want to elevate your auditions, You can book us for on-demand self-tape help at laughingvikings.com/auditions. One of our seasoned trained session directors will work with you via Zoom, or if you're in Toronto, here in our Toronto studio. But we'll hook up with you and help you elevate your audition, make it more professional, so you don't have to worry about bugging family and friends, so you don't have to worry about tech troubles, ultimately so that you can just elevate your performance, focus on your craft, and ultimately book more roles in TV, film, and theater. And then for those of you who want to join Actors Audition Club, we'll be opening up the new enrollments either the tail end of December or likely early January. But you can get on the priority notification list by going to laughingvikings.com/join. And what will happen is you'll be first to be notified before we open up our enrollment to the general public, so that you too can learn the strategies and tactics and habits and systems and processes that today's working actors are using to book more roles in TV, film, and theater. Because all of this is about elevating your craft, elevating your performance, so that long term, if you're incrementally improving and getting better and better, the chances are, if you're submitting better auditions and better quality and higher quality auditions with stronger choices over time, you are going to book more roles. So you can join that wait list at laughingvikings.com/join.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts on measuring success? And actually, I'll say one final thought on this is some of what we talked about today is bookings are it's quantifiable. You can say I had 20 auditions and I booked 3 roles, and you have a ratio right there. Some of this is a little more qualitative, but figure out how you can measure that. You can measure the number of classes you took. You can measure the number of hours you spent in class. You can measure the number of new contacts that you met while you were on set. You can measure the number of casting directors that saw you for the first time this year or saw you multiple times. So it's a little bit about how you can gamify this to be a quantitative numbers thing, where you can. It's a little more challenging. Where how do you define strengthening a relationship? But you could measure that by sending thank you cards or sending a quick gratitude email to a casting director at the end of a year or after you book something. So find ways that you can quantify it, but also realize that even if you can't quantify it, maybe you can't quantify how strong a relationship is. So just figure out how to qualitatively define that. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Final thoughts?
Keep going, have fun, and you do you.
Yeah, play your game.
Play your game.
Play your game. All right, I think we're done for today. Make sure to share this out with your actor, comedian, artist friends. Subscribe, give us a rating on the podcast platform. We're here on Facebook and YouTube live every Wednesday, but you can listen to us on all the podcast platforms. And make sure, if you haven't yet, register for that Audition Hero workshop at laughingvikings.com/audition hero. And you can join the wait list for Actors Audition Club and be first notified at laughingvikings.com/join. All right, that's it for now.
Thank you.
Brandon and I are off to a show.
Yes. We have to go to Oakville
for a corporate dinner theater show. So we are off to another example of playing your own game. We got a show today. So outside of our agents and outside of casting directors giving us their approval, it's something that we've been a part of, and we're doing it.
We're doing
it. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Goodbye.
Later. See you in the next one. Episode 118 next week.